This is the value of wrestling, the revolutionary force in wrestling podcasting.
It's your boy Miguel Z with the Value of Wrestling New Japan Rebound Podcast. I've got a guest for you folks at Stockton Con.
What up, everybody? AJ Kirsch here, the voice and the host of Stockton Con. The value of wrestling is awesome, so subscribe on YouTube. Scan the QR code right here, now. Subscribe, check it out.
There we go.
You'll be glad you did.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah, that's what. Hey, man, shout out the Value of Wrestling. I'm right here with the Big O's, San Jose. We done shut the shit down. Love and respect, though, right? Value of Wrestling. Hello.
Man, thank you, brother.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you didn't know, you better call somebody. Go ahead and call somebody. Let them know that we are live on YouTube. We are live right here on the Value of Wrestling with your post-show review for Monday Night Raw for March 4th, 2024. Welcome to this edition of your Raw Review Show. Welcome to not Sing Along with the Big Time. Unfortunately, due to technical errors and situations, we got a sing-along at the AEW Revolution review, but tonight we have made sure that is not going to happen. No, we're not going to go there.
What? No karaoke?
No karaoke tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Value of Wrestling. Let's get into the introductions. You know the man sitting across from me, the one, the only.
Paulus, Clarke.
Oh, you know. And of course, you know me. I made a big scene last night, but tonight we're going to get it right, do it right. On the big time. Welcome to the party. Welcome to the show. If you're in the here, go ahead and join us in the chat. Join the better than the pay-per-view. For some people, our show might have been better than the pay-per-view with the sing-along version of the show. I can't believe we went over an hour with that going like that. That was ridiculousness. And no, I'm not talking about the TV show that was on MTV. Anyways, it's Monday Night Raw. We are in San Antonio, Texas tonight for an episode of Monday Night Raw. There with a sold-out crowd, just under 15,000. So no, they didn't sell out as many seats as AEW did last night. So go ahead, you AEW Hard Knot fans, get all excited. They sold out the building. So, you know, they didn't have that many fans, but they sold out the building. AEW Revolution did not sell out. Anywho, welcome. What did we get tonight? So far in the chat, we have 1 for good, 2 for average, and 1 for boring. Somebody absolutely thought this show was boring. That's I don't think it was necessarily boring. Wow. It wasn't the best show, Raw, that we've seen so far, and things seem to be picked up. But we're going to jump into it. We got a recap of SmackDown again. We got to hear about The Rock and his la-di-da-di garbage. And then Cody Rhodes came out. He's here live. He loved to talk about how at Mania he will stand across the ring from the greatest champion in the company's history, Roman Reigns. Unfortunately, he's unable to talk about that because of a distraction. One that stings quite a bit, The Rock. Last week, The Rock took to Instagram. He posted a 16-minute video, deleted it, and 5 minutes later, posted a director's cut that was 21 minutes, and it was a really good video, which was really sad. He posted a really damn good video that was 20 minutes long, and then he went to SmackDown and gave us rehashed garbage from the video that wasn't as good as the video. This is what irritated me. The video was great. The video hit. The video felt like The Rock. The video felt like Hollywood Rock. The video felt like this is the Rock that I need to see coming at Cody. Then he came to SmackDown. We got half lackluster Rock, repeated half the garbage. The big thing Cody was upset about tonight, I guess Cody and CM Punk have something in common. Don't talk about their dogs or attack their dogs or even touch their dogs. But we won't get
the wrong way. We
won't get in the AEW history of dog abuse. I mean, anyway, so Cody Rhodes wasn't happy that The Rock talked about his dog. And of course, he talked about everything but the 1-versus-1. Cody challenged him. The Rock was right. They did have a conversation. And when The Rock told him the people don't want Cody versus Roman, the people want Rock versus Roman. But when he started, we started chanting something, he heard it, and WWE heard it, The Rock heard it because he began calling us crybabies. Cody got upset when he saw the family tree and decided that it was time to change his mind. The Rock had presented an entirely different challenge, one that involved Seth, his friend, so let's bring him out. And we had Seth Rollins, who came out as the human highlighter tonight. I don't know if the San Antonio area lost all their safety vests. I mean, this man could have stand out. I mean, they could have cut out the lights and Seth Rollins would have still shined bright. I don't know if he was ready to go out there. We know that Bray Wyatt once sang this little, I have the whole world in my hand. I don't know if Seth Rollins was trying to come out here and saying, this little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. There's your sing-along for the night. Take it or leave it. Anyway, Seth Rollins comes out. Yes, he was brighter than ever. I don't know who allowed Seth Rollins in highlighter yellow from head to toe. Human safety cone. Safety cones are usually orange. I mean, he was a human safety vest. I think after the Raw show, he had to go out in the parking lot and direct traffic, you know. He probably had to go stand out on the runway at the airport there to help, guide the planes out, too. Who knows? Anyways, Cody says the plot has been twisted. He didn't think he'd be a part of Mania until he saw that stupid PowerPoint. Seth must face the only other guy. So Seth's going to face Drew McIntyre. Cody's going to face Roman. But The Rock wants to go Roman and Rock versus Cody and Seth Rollins. They chat back and forth about this. Seth said that it's his story that 10 years ago he and Reigns came in and wanted to take the power from the top and give it back to the people, but Reigns wanted to keep them all for himself. So they both have a storyline. Seth eventually talks about The Rock and how he's running his mouth for a long time. He loved The Rock, but The Rock's the same. He's not even the people's champion anymore. And Seth decided that The Rock needed a new name, and it's Diarrhea Dwayne. Why we had to go for bad poop jokes here, I don't know. This was kind of disappointing. This was the best I got from Seth Rollins, is calling Dwayne The Rock Johnson Diarrhea Dwayne. San Antonio crowd loved it because we got a quick diarrhea chant. We go back and forth here with Cody and Seth talking about it. So this Friday, Seth says this Friday he's going to SmackDown to confront the Bloodline. And he wants to know if Cody has his back. Cody says he also has a message for Rock, and it's been a long time since The Rock hasn't just been handed something, quite possibly since he had that $7 in his pocket. Cody is not the same man as The Rock. He will come to SmackDown with Seth and stand in the ring across from the whole Bloodline in the great state of Texas. They're going to Houston. And this Friday, he will go face to face and give him the very clear, obvious answer for what's happening at Mania. And this took 21 minutes and was... Last week was great. Cody was fired up and ready to rip heads off of Paul Heyman. We had the three goons. One of them, we won't call them goons. They were suspended New York police officers. One of them, a good friend to the podcast here, the Value Wrestling one, AJ Kirsch, was really awesome to see in there. Yes, we're going to go back and throw that highlight out there. But this was lackluster. I felt like last week we were like heading in a direction on Monday Night Raw, SmackDown. We got the video package. It felt like we were on the right track. Then we went to SmackDown, and it kind of felt like the ball got fumbled. And tonight, it felt like we took a step backwards. It just... part of it was I didn't get the same emphasis from Cody. If Seth wants to get in this, I need serious Seth. I need Seth to be a little more pissed off, a little away from the character he's been playing. I need this serious Seth. And it's really hard to take him serious when he's brighter than crap. When Jesus, the human highlighter. I mean, he was more yellow. Well, our mic's actually gold, but I mean, he stood out more than that. I mean, it's not the greatest thing. I'm begging them all, please get together and hit it out of the park on SmackDown. I need this to be a grand slam on SmackDown. I need to see that intensity that we saw at the press conference on SmackDown with all four of these men. I need Seth Rollins flipping out Seth Rollins like he was on that stage after The Rock slapped Cody. I need that intensity for this storyline to feel good. Otherwise, it's just kind of floundering, and I'm just not interested. I really don't want to see Cody, Seth versus Rock and Roman. Yes, I want to see Cody and Roman for the world title because I want to see Cody finally finish the story. But all this other stuff is just not... It's not helping the story. It's actually taking me away from it because it's just like, you all should be pissed. This should be huge. This thing should be monumental. There should be things that we've never thought we'd hear in wrestling being said. They need to come with something different. I want to see Cody pissed off like I did last week. I want to see that Seth Rollins that we know that can get really fired up, just like we saw at the press conference. I want to see Hollywood Rock who's ready to slap Cody again. So, not the best way to open the show in my favor, but Mr. Clarke, your thoughts?
I don't know how to add on to what you just said because I feel the exact same way. Ah, Lord. Jesus, please take the wheel of the storytelling.
Thank you, Carrie Underwood. Yeah, no, I mean, it's, I don't know. I'm hoping SmackDown hits this out of the park. So we'll have to wait and see when we get all four of these men. We need to turn the juice up on this. It's time. We're running out of time to really turn the juice up to making this be must-watch matches. You're going to give me Cody, Seth versus Roman and Rock. You better make me want to, do whatever it takes to be sitting in my seat ready for this to go down. This must be not just a stipulation, but there's got to be these factors that just really make this story feel like, okay, I'm ready for this.
From there, part of the problem though is also the fact that they're speeding the story too far, or too much, into 1 to 2 nights.
Yeah.
Like, why did we need this tag match at WrestleMania?
Yeah.
I don't understand why they feel the need for it.
They just got to draw us in a little more. Anyways, after that, as the bell rings for the next match, we got a mention. Michael Cole mentioning Sting's last match happened last night, and Pat McAfee saying it was a damn good match, meaning Pat McAfee at least watched this match at some point. So WWE, in their own way, did recognize Sting in his final match in AEW. They didn't say AEW directly on the show, but they acknowledged it. So for everybody out there who was hating on WWE, go, oh, WWE didn't say anything about Sting's last match. How rude, how this and that. There you go. They made the statement on live TV. They gave recognition that it was Sting's last match. They didn't need to say AEW, and that's fine, but they gave the acknowledgement, so get over it. I mean, this was a bunch of stuff that I heard coming out of last night and this morning that, WWE didn't say anything about Sting's final match. I'm like, well, there you go. They did their thing. They acknowledged it on live TV. And then we got our first match of the night. This should open the night and probably would have set us all in a better mood because this was a damn good match. Gunther versus Dominic Mysterio. This was a damn good match. I mean, if you would have put Will Ospreay, Takeshita, and then Gunther and Dominic back to back, you would have had two great matches back to back. Not that Gunther and Dominic Mysterio are on the same level as Will Ospreay and I take a shit. You know who I'm talking about. My name is, I'm losing all train of talk. Anywho. This is a good, solid match. I mean, it was very good. Gunther worked over Dominic. Dominic was hilarious trying to chop Gunther. So Cody does actually win. Who will Cody feud with next? If Cody were to win, I would assume that he's going to continue to feud with Roman Reigns and maybe The Rock. It depends on when they're going to turn The Rock. Are they going to turn him right at WrestleMania? Some people assume that. I don't know if that's going to happen. I believe that storyline is going to continue on for a little bit. But I think the next big feud probably for Cody is going to be Randy Orton. I think that would probably be the guy that's going to turn on Cody and start that feud. Because Drew McIntyre may be champion on the other brand. Kind of setting up for the return of CM Punk, so we'll see. Andrade and Dominic, that's going to be interesting. We'll definitely talk about that when we get to it. What's going on between Andrade and Dominic. They are creating a story there that's going to be very interesting, but we'll get to that in just a second. Bear with me. But anyways, Gunther and Dominic, they gave us a great match. Dominic tried to chop Gunther at times. It was hilarious. Gunther no-sold the crap out of that. JD tried to get in the middle of this and pretty much got punked out and probably got himself in a worse position. But overall, this was a good, solid match. We get elbow drops. Gunther runs the ropes. 6-9-1-9. Dom to the top. Frog splash. No. Roll through. Shotgun drop kick. Power bomb to Dom. Boston Crab. Dominic Mysterio taps out. 9 minutes and 12 seconds. This was a good, solid match. I mean, I'm not going to say it's a 5-star match by any means, but it was a good, solid match. Gunther looked good in this. Dominic played the right role in it. He didn't look horrible coming out of this. This was a fun match to watch. You enjoyed it. Both these guys played the role and how it's going to go. As far as Priest cashing in, I don't know what they're going to do with Damian Priest and cashing in. I think that Rhea Ripley's probably going to lose her title at WrestleMania, and I think Rhea Ripley's going to steal the Money in the Bank from him and misuse it. I just have a weird feeling that somehow he's going to either not cash it in or somebody's going to take it from him. I think his Money in the Bank briefcase is probably going to disappear after WrestleMania, but we'll have to wait and see. A good question. Mr. Clarke, your thoughts on this opening match?
Hilarity. What more can you say?
Oh.
Been enjoying Dom's work for a while now, and he continues to progress. That's all you can ask.
Yes. No, but it was a good match. I mean, Gunther got over looking strong and Dominic playing the perfect role in this match. It was just an enjoyable match. Backstage, we see Damage Control walking in. Adam Pearce wonders why they are here. Dakota Kai says she is with the tag team champions. They can come to any show. They are here to scout Shayna Baszler and Zoe Starks. Nakamura walks in and tells Pearce that they need to talk. Pearce says he'll have an announcement about the IC title later. And this idiot needs to quit writing Shin. You can say Nakamura. Nakamura can meet him in the office if he wants to talk. We're back to the fool that calls Shinsuke Nakamura Shin. No, please stop. Please. Next match was a women's tag match. It goes back and forth. A lot of people think Becky's gonna let Rhea beat her at WrestleMania. I don't know if Rhea has anything to do after Becky. That's the thing. I don't know. If she beats Becky, where do you take Rhea? So, of course, they do have the Liv Morgan role playing a part in there, but I don't know. I don't know how that's going to play in that, and I hope they're not turning Liv heel. It may be great, but I kind of like the mid-tweener, out of, kind of psycho Liv Morgan that we get. So we'll have to wait and see. That's the good thing. I think there's advantages to both sides. Could Rhea win? Yes. Could Becky win? Yes. It could go either way. But I don't know what you do with Rhea as champion after WrestleMania. She's ran through everybody pretty much, and they don't have anybody really in line after that, unless Charlotte's coming back. But I don't know if I really want to run into Charlotte and Rhea right now. Liv would probably be another contender, but I don't know if it's time. It's going to get interesting. I think Becky with the title might add a couple of features. We might get Becky and Liv feuding over the title, which would be something different, and maybe we get a heel Bianca Belair. If Becky's the champion, maybe this finally pushes Bianca Belair heel. So, and that show's out there. All the episodes for Love and Wrestling are out on the Hulu channel, so they don't necessarily need to keep her babyface to get people to watch it anymore now. So it may be finally time to pull the trigger on that idea. But thank you for the questions. Rhea versus Jade or Rhea versus Nia is a few gimmick matches. Jade, they're going to have to let us see Jade wrestle. Until we see Jade wrestle, I don't know what's going to happen. We don't know where she stands in any of this. And if she's ready, it's going to be a wait and see. Rhea versus Nia, I think we've seen it. I think we need to break away from that. We may get some more Nia versus Becky Lynch if she wins the title, too, because there's still that feud stimulating there. But the women's tag team match, Shayna Baszler, Zoe Starks versus Kaden Carter and Katana Chance. Katana Chance and Kaden Carter talking about how they want the titles back. This is kind of a match that's going to set up.
They need to.
I don't know.
Looking at his comment.
Yeah, I know. They definitely do. I understand why you feel like she may be the female John Cena. They may never turn her, but I don't know if it's going to work for her. I don't think her momentum is starting to slow down, and she's getting lost in the shuffle. And I think she'd be a great heel. Anyways, it's the after party. After a kick out, Shayna Baszler breaks the pin up. Zoe with a stack pin for the 1, 2, 3. Nice to see Zoe Starks get the pin in this match. Shayna Baszler. Sonya Blazers? You misspelled this. How did you get Sonya? Were you really thinking of Sonya Deville in your mind when you put Sonya Blazer in here? Sorry, our notes are from other sources, and they messed up. Anyway, Shayna Baszler and Zoe Starks get the big win here. It looks like they are being built to the contenders for the women's tag team titles. After the match, of course, Damage Control enters the ring. Dakota wants to congratulate them, but she has been thinking after NXT tomorrow, where they're going to defend the titles against, is it Alpha Fire and who is it? Damn it. I forget who it's again.
Women's champion.
Tyme Valkyrie?
Yes. And I forget the partner.
Yeah, I know. That's going to happen on NXT tomorrow. And then they'll come back to Raw to give them a tag team title match. They can then send them both of them crying just like they did Bayley. Shayna swipes the mic and says, "Okay." Now, backstage, we were Judgment Day, and they were taking care of Dom. Damian Priest talks to JD about how he is responsible for Gunther. We find out more about what GD has to do there. Andrade steps in the locker room, and him and Dom have a quick conversation. Dom tells Priest to watch him. He might be somebody that can help us later. They go back and forth, Dom and Damian, for a moment, while the rest of the Judgment Day kind of just stare there like, huh? Dom wants Judgment Day to be cool. They could use him in the future, talking about Andrade. Damian Priest tells JD that he is to deal with Gunther, while him and Phil deal with the rest of Imperium. And back to Little Fettuccine's statement earlier. What is going on between Andrade and Dominic? I don't know. This does have an interesting storyline. There's a lot of factors that look like Judgment Day may be separating. I don't know what they're going to do with Judgment Day after WrestleMania. I'm assuming they're losing the tag team titles. Rhea Ripley is really starting to make a babyface turn, so I don't know if they pulled the trigger on that. I think if you put her in the role of Chyna and put Dominic in the role of Rey Mysterio, where we see him going, where you could turn Dominic babyface but still let him do the heelish, dirty tactics like Eddie Guerrero did. I think you can do that. I think Damian Priest is due for his face run now. And Finn Balor, I think it's time to put him back in the main event. What's going on with Andrade and Dominic? I don't know. I don't know where this leads into the LWO, Fantasma del Legado, and Rey Mysterio, and all of them. There's something there that they're building to, but they're not really going to give us all the details yet.
It's right now.
They're just planting the seeds, slowly planting the seeds and letting this bloom. Will we ever see Bad Bunny and Logan Paul match? I don't think so. I don't think there's a lot of an advantage to that match. Would it be a fun match to watch? Probably, but I don't think there's a lot of advantage to Bad Bunny or Logan Paul facing one another.
I mean, even as great as each of those guys have been,
yes,
they've been facing off against tenured veterans.
Yes.
People who can absolutely make sure that it's as safe as possible.
Well, and I think they'd have a good match and it'd be a safe match, but it doesn't elevate one or the other, them facing one another. Bad Bunny is a much more here and there, so he's not at always. Logan Paul is more of a regular and has signed more of a deal with WWE, wrestling more matches in his last contract. So he's becoming a more bigger player in the company, and Logan Paul has really worked out. Bad Bunny's going to be here and there. Maybe in a couple of years, if Logan Paul really solidifies himself as a wrestler full time, and there's a reason for it, maybe, but I don't see it. I don't, unfortunately. Sounds great on paper. Definitely sounds like it'd be fun to watch on paper.
Or WWE 24, 2K, what I'm trying to say, video game.
Anyways, the women's match, your thoughts? I know I jumped a little bit there, but yeah, what was your thought on this women's tag match?
I mean, it's about what I expected. We've seen that they've been building Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark to be contenders.
Yes.
I would have thought this match, instead of happening next week, I thought would have happened at WrestleMania. But I guess we'll see what happens if this is just a red herring or if it is what it is and they're building to something else.
Yes, exactly. Becky Lynch versus Nia Jax. So we have back-to-back women's matches tonight. Becky corners Nia with some rights. We go back and forth. Nia being the dominant beast she is, she's looking better than she ever has been before. Becky fighting from underneath, playing that great babyface role. Eventually, Nia grabs Becky and sends her into the ring. Nia shakes off the hit, turns, and it's Liv Morgan. And with Morgan, she dives off the barricade with the right hand to Nia, sending her into the barricade, causing the DQ. After the match, Liv enters the ring to talk some crap to her, some shit to Becky. Becky turns her, and they get into a shouting match. Nia pulls both their feet out. She pulls out Liv of the ring and then sends Becky into the post. Back first, leg drop to Liv Morgan. This match ended in a DQ at 10 minutes, 55 seconds. So Becky Lynch has not beaten Nia Jax yet. This is a key. Nia Jax got the one via DQ. So Becky Lynch has not beaten Nia Jax. This could play a lot of what the roles going into WrestleMania. Becky Lynch is to win the women's championship. You have a feud right here with Nia Jax. You also have a feud that you're building with Liv Morgan, even though Liv Morgan has some leftover things to do with Rhea Ripley. It's going to be interesting, but part of me, as much as I'd love to see Rhea continue, I think Rhea's great. don't see what you can do with her in the women's title after WrestleMania. There's not. Go ahead.
But the great thing is we don't know who's going to win that particular match.
No.
They're both name value. They're both doing great work. So it's kind of like, let the chips fall where they may.
Yes. Exactly. And what were your thoughts on this match? That really wasn't a match. It's just, this wasn't necessarily a match. This was more of a story. This was to continue a story and start.
This feud must continue.
Yes, this was a feud continuer and a twist in there by adding Liv Morgan to make it a little difference.
Which, in that respect, I like the addition of Liv Morgan, continually using her and not just her being lost in the shuffle or, putting lowering on the card.
Well, I think
they're still making her look good.
Yes.
And that is, to me, the most important. Like, they're actually building her, unlike the on and off times when she was on SmackDown.
Yes. Now, as far as if they turn Rhea babyface, what do they do with Dom? I think Dom will still be with her. I think they work together. I think they'd be a better act as a duo, with Rhea being babyface, which I think would help turn Dominic slight babyface, but I think Dominic still needs to do heel things. Again, if you watch any of the, I don't know what eras you watch, but if you know the China Eddie Guerrero story that was played out, I think they could play that story in their own way, where Rhea's getting over babyface. Dom is still kind of a heel, but he's getting a little bit of a babyface rub from Rhea being babyface, but he's still doing heel tactics, and I think it would be very entertaining and a right place to keep both of them going forward.
If there ever was a second coming of I lie, I cheat, I steal,
exactly,
Dom is definitely the best guy.
And I think this is one of those scenarios where you could wind up accidentally having Rhea and Dom become a duo or a co-US champion or a co-intercontinental champion. I know we did this many years ago, but I think they would be a perfect pair to somehow do this by accident. And then if you want to split them, you could, but it could be very entertaining in that sense. Ricochet is upset in a turtleneck backstage with Pierce. He says he has a plan for the IC title and he thinks that it will satisfy anyone who wants a shot at the IC title. Ricochet trusts him and he leaves. In comes Priest, who says JD wants a shot at Gunther's title. Ben tells JD to pitch him. JD says put him in the ring with Gunther and he'll do his talking there. Backstage, Liv Morgan and Becky runs up on her pissed off. Liv says Becky can dish it out but can't take it back. Becky wants to fight about it. Liv would love it. It's Liv versus Becky next week on Raw. Becky walks, and here comes Rhea Ripley to laugh, and she walks away. So we have that. Backstage, we have Adam Pearce, and he is alone to announce the IC title situation. And he's accompanied with a semi-video package. Pierce is here to identify the challengers. So I believe next week we're going to get Sami Zayn, Ricochet, Shinsuke Nakamura, Bronson Reed, JD McDonough, and Chad Gable. The sixth man will compete next week in a gauntlet match to see who faces Gunther at Mania. Only one can win, and he will face Gunther at Mania. This is fine, depending on who they're going to have win this. The great thing is there's a couple guys you could put in there. Chad Gable, Sami Zayn, Bronson Reed would definitely be leaders of the pack in that storyline. It may or may not. It depends on how they tell the story and if they can get it over. I think if they were ever going to do a co-champion in that sense, Rhea Ripley and Dominic Mysterio would be the only two people that I could look at down the roster that it would really make sense to do that with in storyline purposes. So it may not work in this day and age, but it might. Depends on how they tell the story and how they put it over. So anyways, as I was saying, Sami Zayn, Chad Gable, and Bronson Reed would be my top three picks. Ricochet would be a dark horse. I don't know if they're going to do anything with Shinsuke here, and JD McDonough, he's here to fill a spot.
Yeah, he's a body.
Yeah, so I don't know what's going to happen here. I know a lot of people are disappointed. Why didn't they just use this match at WrestleMania? And again, who knows how this will end, and this doesn't turn into a 6 or 7 person Intercontinental title type of match. And how, if I was Gunther, I'd almost say, why not do a 7 person or 6 person, whatever this is, gauntlet match or Gunther starts at number 1 with the Intercontinental title and he has to run the gauntlet with all these guys.
Ooh.
Either Gunther wins and looks like a badass, or one of these guys finally picks up the win. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And at least if like you had Chad Gable be the last person in there and he beats Gunther, yes, it may take away a little bit of the shine from Chad Gable, but it still doesn't really hurt Gunther because he had to go through 5 other guys before he got here, right? So I mean, I might have done that even for a different story.
If you look at it as is for the next week's Gauntlet match, they have stories for Sami Zayn and Gunther. They have Chad Gable and Gunther. They're making stories. They're making it make sense for Bronson Reed. Like you may have your favorite, but you don't know who's going to win that match next week.
No, not at all.
Assuming there's a single winner.
Anyways, from there, we see Judgment Day watching Andrade El Idolo. Yes, Andrade El Idolo is here for his return match. I don't know why Michael Cole said, and Andrade is making his Raw debut. I'm like, he's been here before.
Yeah. Later on in commentary during the match, they corrected themselves, but yeah.
The Gauntlet match will be maybe be an hour, maybe an hour plus next week on Raw. Kind of interesting match for next week. I don't know if it'll be an hour. It depends on how long they want to make each segment, how much time they're going to give each person. Because that would be 6 people. You're talking about 20 minutes for each segment to really cover an hour. I don't know if every one of those guys will get that full time. But you're looking at JD McDonough. I don't know if he's going to go 20 minutes in the ring with Gunther. But we'll have to wait and see. It'll be interesting. It might be a whole hour. It'd be smart of them, but we'll have to see. Andrade versus Apollo Crews. Apollo Crews back up from NXT, at least for tonight. I don't know if this is a permanent thing for him.
He's been on main event since he left NXT.
Yeah, okay. He did get brought back up to the main roster. That's right. Okay, Apollo here. He's facing Andrade. Andrade making his return, not his debut on Monday Night Raw. This was a good, solid match to help Andrade get over. Come on. Come on, webpage. Let's work. Stupid pages. Okay, there we go. Let's get back here. Eventually, we get running double knees. He brings Apollo into the center and La Sombra for the cover. 1, 2, 3. This match went 3 minutes, 24 seconds. And Seth Rollins holds the longest gauntlet segment. But Andrade getting a win here. Not a huge win, but coming out to some better music than he did in the past. I like his music now. Still carrying the look over from what he was doing in AEW. But for a first match, we got to see Andrade. We don't know what they're exactly going to do with Andrade, but they're planting seeds, so that makes me happy. Yes, Bobby Lashley and Cross match should be good. The only sad part is I really want Cross to win and see the Final Testament grow. Bobby Lashley and the quote-unquote, as they've been called off air, or what their name was supposed to be, the Pride, I think it's kind of dead. WWE hasn't really built them up, so it's going to be interesting on how they do that. I need Karrion Kross to come out being vicious and a badass, and I hope he wins that one. Your thoughts on Andrade and Apollo Crews? Apollo!
The debut, I mean, the whole point was to make Andrade look good, which is what they did. It was what it was. I mean, there's really not much to say about it. It's a nice way to spend, almost 3.5 minutes. I can definitely think of worse ways.
Yeah. As far as Bayley and Io Sky, I don't think it'll wind up a steel cage match. It would be a nice stipulation, but I don't think we're at that level yet for them to have a steel cage match. I think it'll be one-on-one. Yes, there's going to be a lot of interference. We have to see who they align with Bayley, or who may align themselves with Bayley to come out and help. But I would expect Bayley to probably beat Io Sky at WrestleMania. And we'll see where that feud goes from here. It'll be interesting.
It'll be a clusterfuck.
Yes. Backstage, Jackie Redmond, who's with Sami Zayn, she brings up the Intercontinental title shot. Sami says he thinks about the path that has presented itself. This match is the only thing standing in his way of making history. This is his path to Mania. Ivar and Valhalla are here to interrupt the call. Sami pathetic. Ivar says it's time to put an end to Sami's delusion. He can beat Gunther and Sammy can't. Sammy knows he can beat Ivar. Prove him wrong tonight. Ivar tells him to forget about Mania because he will not make it to next week. Backstage, Candice LeRae, Indy Hartwell, Tegan Knox, Natalya bicker and want to do whatever it takes. In comes Maxine and Ivy and Niall, who thinks that they'll come out of here looking fine and fierce. Candice says Maxine couldn't lace her boots, and he apologizes for that. Lots of speculation that Candice LeRae may be going heel. I don't know how we're going to see that, but we got some sugar, some sprinkling of salt here, some questions brought up. And since we're talking about Maxine, I know there's a lot of breaking news, and I haven't really covered it or gotten into the depth. Maxine was at a house show and got heavily booed by the audience. Rhea Ripley came out and heavily attacked some of the fans that were there that were being very, very, actually, if you go watch the video, they're pretty vicious, telling her how she sucks and get out and da-da-da-da-da. I kind of agree with Rhea. I don't think, you can boo people, but I don't think it's a right to just, somebody's not that great. I mean, we've harshed on Nia Jax, but we're not just pure evil or just pure hatred or say, you suck, you're garbage, get out of here. So, I mean, is Maxine perfect? No, she's green. But is she got some things there and is working on it and they're doing good things with her? Yes. So, I mean, sometimes Van got to back off a little bit.
Wow. Once again, you and I are on opposite sides of this particular issue.
Really?
I'm not saying it was right that these fans just totally eviscerated her, but I believe that she does not need to be on TV unless it's in backstage segments. She's not to be wrestling until she has gotten her skills up to a televised stance, where it's like she's going to look at least serviceable on TV.
So should she be getting that just blasted at a house show? Because this is a house show where she should be learning her skit.
I understand. But how else do you give the feedback to creative?
Well, I think the hatred, it was pretty venomous is my thing. It was a little over the top. Yes. Does she need training? Yes. Does creative need to look at, is she ready for this spotlight and this level? Where can we fit her in that's going to help out is a story. So.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean,
when she wasn't wrestling, she was just doing backstage skits and coming out as a manager. She was God's gift to wrestling, practically.
No, I don't think we'll ever.
From the fans' perspective.
I don't think we'll ever get a Rhea Dominic wedding. That's a little far fetched.
No,
I don't know.
No.
I don't know if Buddy Matthews is going to like that, and then we got to wait and see what happens when Buddy Matthews comes back to WWE. But I think the good thing with Maxine is they have her aligned with Ivy Nile, and I think working with Ivy Nile is going to help fix some of those things. But yeah, I mean, she is not perfect. Mm-hmm. But I mean, we had a lot of issues with Nia Jax today, but we weren't that harsh. But I mean, even Nia Jax has made the turn. So I mean, there's always progression. Some of the worst that we thought were the worst.
Oh, I believe Maxine's going to make it, but I'm just saying I also understand.
Yeah.
The other side, if you will.
From there, we had a tag team match, Judgment Day versus Imperium, and for the first time ever, Imperium was getting cheered. This was a major shocker. Heavy cheers here. This is a good, solid match between all four of these guys. It was solid. It was decent. Eventually, the priest hits a huge lariat. He drops the straps and South of Heaven for a cover. 1, 2, 3. A good, solid match here. It went 14 minutes, 9 seconds. And, yeah, I mean, Judgment Day is here. They looked really good getting over Imperium. Of course, Imperium getting cheered tonight was just a weird thing to even listen to. But they all brought it and had a great match. We're getting a lot of the tag teams. Who is the Judgment Day going to face at WrestleMania? We don't know yet. I still assume it's going to be DIY. I think that's the crowning moment for DIY. But everybody else is calling for the Awesome Truth. And Miz and Truth and DIY are all entangled in this storyline, which is great. But I don't think... I mean, I guess maybe R-Truth getting that title win there is great, but I just don't know. I think DIY, it's their time. Your thoughts on this tag match?
This tag match I loved. I have an affinity for Imperium. I really want to see them with the tag titles at some point down the line. I expected them to lose tonight, But man, I really want to see those tag titles on them eventually. Just the trash talking they can do once they have those titles.
Yeah.
I will find that very entertaining.
Yes. As far as Priest cashing on Cody, I highly doubt it'll be Cody. Cody will be on SmackDown. Priest will still be on Raw. Yes, he can cash in on any brand, but I think your Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre, if he's going to cash in, he might do the Seth Rollins thing from WrestleMania 31. He may cash in mid-match between Seth and Drew. If Drew wins the title, I would see Priest becoming babyface, breaking away from Judgment Day and cashing in on Drew. Because you got to remember, Mommy supports Drew McIntyre. And Damian Priest has had a lot of issues with Drew McIntyre. So if Drew beats Seth, then I wouldn't be surprised if Damian cashes in on Drew. Will it be a successful cash in? I don't know. Will that be the catalyst that breaks up the Judgment Day? Is there something still going on with Mommy and Drew McIntyre that we don't know about? Because we know when this all the way back to War Games, and even the storyline has been continued in this year where Mommy's jumped on Damian Priest for feuding with Drew, or even when he had the match with Drew McIntyre, he was not very happy about it. So there's little seeds there, but that's where I think more of Priest going than Cody. Because Cody's going to be protected. He's going to be, if he beats Roman, like I assume are going to end the story, he's going to beat Cody. I know there's speculation he may not, and I can see where he may not. Depends on what the story they tell. Maybe good or bad. But if Cody were to win that title, they're not going to let Damian cash in on him. It would take away too quickly from what they're doing with Cody, and it would set up Priest for failure because it would be automatically Priest isn't going to get the cash in. Is Seth losing both nights at Mania? I don't know. It's hard to say. If Seth, I would think Seth is losing the match in the tag team match to set up the Bloodline match. But again, I don't know. A lot of that storyline is going to be told. Maybe Cody and Seth beat them, and everybody from the Bloodline is supposed to be barred from the ring. But there's other people that are part of the Bloodline, but they're not officially a part of the Bloodline that could interfere. So you could have, screwy finish here. Could Seth lose to Drew? Drew is so hot right now, I wouldn't be surprised. And it could be a result of Seth getting injured in the tag match that would allow Drew to, have that upper hand on him. Of course, the Bloodline said they would protect Cody. Let's say Seth and Cody beat the Bloodline, and the Bloodline cost Seth his title against Drew. We don't know.
I'm with you on that. I don't want this Roman Cody.
Well, you don't, but it's going to continue. Even if Cody wins, the story may be over, but there's still going to be a continuing feud of the Bloodline a little bit. There's going to be the rematch. You're going to have the WrestleMania Backlash, and there's going to be some feuds before he officially moves into the next feud. And of course, Roman and Cody are going to be tied together for the rest of their careers because this is the biggest feud. I mean, it's like Cena and Orton and Cena and Edge. It's like Shawn and Brett. I mean, they're going to kind of be tied together for most of their careers. So we're going to see them probably feud in and out for whatever time they have remaining. I don't know how much time Roman really has remaining, but that's a wait to see. Mm-hmm. Anyways, the big news for tonight. Cole goes back to his heyday with Taz, and this man would drill them for hours into the morning. He talked about going in, and when he was recording with Taz back in the day of SmackDown, they go into the studio and they work on commentary, and this man would drill them and teach them with passion and emotions. Ladies and gentlemen, the first inductee to the WWE Hall of Fame class of 2024, and great video package. It showed a lot of scenes, and I know everybody's been waiting, and we've been waiting when's the induction is going to come. Well, we finally got the first one, ladies and gentlemen, in a shocker, I would say. I don't think anybody was really expecting this. Yes, we know we're going to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and it makes perfect sense, but I don't know if he would have necessarily, everybody would have been looking at him to be the first one to be announced. But yes, ladies and gentlemen, Paul Heyman is your first inductee into the WWE Hall of Fame class of 2024. I think a lot of people... Paul E. Dangerously, yes, back in WCW, the Dangerous Alliance, ECW, Eastern Championship Wrestling before it was changed to Extreme Championship Wrestling. Paul Heyman is, Paul Heyman goes all the way back to the 70s where he worked for Vincent McMahon Sr. And when that was the WWF, or the Worldwide Wrestling Federation, being a photography boy. I'm glad Paul Heyman's doing this. I know the big question on everybody's mind, who's going to induct Paul Heyman? Me and Mr. Clarke talked about this before the show. He suggested one CM Punk, who I would not complain about, but I don't know if CM Punk won't be busy. I think there's other people. I mean, if we get a women's induction, I'm hoping and I'm thinking it is time to put AJ Lee in there. And if they put AJ Lee, I'm sure she's probably going to put her husband and put her over for her induction. I mean, other than that, I mean, Paige, she can't get Paige, so that's kind of out of the answer. And I don't know who else AJ Lee had a close association with to really do that, other than possibly CM Punk. So if you have Punk inducting AJ Lee, I think for me, regardless, I almost say Austin, because Austin was with Paul Heyman in WCW. He was there with him in ECW, and they've had passings in WWE. But I know some people are going to cry for Brock Lesnar, but Brock Lesnar's not in good cookies right now.
My ninja.
So
No.
we're not going to see Brock Lesnar, unfortunately. Could you have the Tribal Chief Roman Reigns? Well, I guess you could have The Rock. The Rock would be a big name to induct Heyman because of the history Heyman has with the Samoan family and the Samoan lineage. You could say The Rock. There's a place. Joey Styles would be another great name if Joey Styles is willing to do it. I don't know what Joey Styles is doing these days, and he's not a big fan of WWE and what they do. So I don't know. Triple H is the master of making amends, but I don't know. And I don't know if Joey Styles and Paul Heyman were that close. Joey Styles was a great commentator, and it was the voice of ECW, but I don't know. Because if you look at who Paul Heyman has close relationships with, I don't know if he was really close to Joey Styles. Now, we were talking about ECW alumni. A lot of people say Rod Van Dam, and I'm like, Rod Van Dam and Paul Heyman really don't have a whole lot of connection to one another. You might be able to get Taz, but Taz is on AEW, so unless they're going to let him come over for a night, I don't know. I would think a Tommy Dreamer would be one of your best, or a Bully Ray, Bubba Ray Dudley would be the top contenders if you wanted an ECW guy. Mm-hmm. So that's how I see it. But it'll be interesting. I'm sure we'll find out. It'll be a lot of fun. Go ahead.
As far as the ECW lumps, actually, you would think since Tommy Dreamer was basically his right-hand man for a lot of things, that would be the guy.
Well, but
ECW alum.
But Bully Ray, Bubba Ray was right there in line. It was Paul Heyman,
you're right.
Tommy Dreamer, and Bully Ray. I mean, it was them three that worked together. Bully Ray took care of a lot of the finances. I mean, Bully Ray, if you go listen to Bully Ray interviews, they sat in these offices and these dirty arenas and these back rooms and in their cars. And, Bully Ray would call up Heyman for this or that. And Paulie would say, I got to send it. So, I mean, between the three of them, I mean, they were a very tight-knit group for ECW. So if you really want to focus on that, that would be great. If you want to focus on almost Heyman's whole career, Austin would be great. CM Punk would be a great piece because they're very close. So I don't know. Hell, I wonder if he'll hire. I wonder if WWE would let him do Kid Behind the Camera. Michael Green, a YouTuber that has a YouTube channel, Kid Behind the Camera, on YouTube, and yes, and he works for Paul Heyman. He's done stuff and works for Paul Heyman's advertising group, and they're very, very connected. Paul Heyman sent him a congratulations when Michael Green got married. So I mean, and Kid Behind the Camera, Michael Green is a big wrestling fan. So that's the only reason I say that. I don't know if WWE would let somebody who's more of a wrestling fan, even though they're a big time YouTuber, get there. But it'd be interesting. We got Logan Paul, who started on YouTube in wrestling. So I mean, this could be a day. You know who I vote to induct Paul Heyman? Let's have AJ Kirsch. Let's have a friend of the value of wrestling induct Paul Heyman. We're supporting you, AJ. No. We're going to have some fun with it. What's your favorite Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson movie? Anywho. Drew McIntyre is backstage with Jackie Redmond.
You're really going to no-sell that?
Do you have a favorite Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson movie?
It's hard. Some are better than others. I don't know if I have a quote favorite. I do enjoy his movies though in general though.
I mean, I liked him in the Fast and Furious for the role he was playing and how it developed, but that kind of fell apart. I didn't necessarily like the Hobbs and Shaw spinoff from that. From there, I think some of his best stuff might have been Jumanji, remake of Jumanji, but Mr. Miguel, what's your favorite one? Black Adam, right? That was your favorite Rock movie, right? Anywho, drop in the comments below what was your favorite Rock movie. From there, we go backstage with Drew McIntyre. He's talking to Jackie Redmond. She congratulates Heyman and asks Drew if Seth has listened to anything as it said. Drew says no because Seth is a spotlight junkie. And boy, was he a spotlight junkie tonight. He can't help himself. He should be focusing on the title, but look at the most recent comeback, CM Punk, Cody Rhodes, down the Rock. That's got to be there. The title deserves so much better. As for Jay, all he wanted was an apology, but he'll be the bigger man. He knows Jay needs this victory, but there's no chance Jay is going to win tonight. The game plan. Okay, that was a good, decent movie. Valhalla comes down and puts her antlers on Cole, and this gets the crowd chanting Michael as he's wearing the headpiece. Valhalla. Walking Tall was good. I'll give him credit for that. That's when he was first getting into some of the movies, and he wasn't so where he is now. Anyways, we got Sami Zayn versus Ivar. Good solid match here. You had the big man with the underdog, Sami Zayn. It's the classic Sami Zayn story. Unfortunately, he does this the best, playing the underdog when he's not playing the heel. Him playing the babyface underdog, that's always becoming the David Goliath story. It's what works for Sammy. Exploder in the corner. He goes for a Haluva kick, but Ivar sits on his chest. Ivar to the top rope. Doonsault misses. Haluva kick. We get the 1, 2, 3. This match went 10 minutes, 13 seconds. Sami is saying you're a winner. A good solid match. Seeing Sammy win is a good thing here. They're building him to look like one of the top people for this Intercontinental title run. He beat the big guy Ivar here. And, of course, right after the match, what helped out this, Bronson Reed runs down, attacks Sammy, and finishes Sammy off with a tsunami. Bronson Reed gets to walk out and look big. So you have Sammy looking very good here. And you have Bronson Reed having a moment that gives him some credibility. This is why I say Sammy, Bronson Reed. And then in a minute here, we'll talk about why Chad Gable feels like one of the people that could win this gauntlet match tomorrow. Mr. Clarke, your thoughts on this Sami Zayn versus Ivar match?
Man, it's like the writing was on the wall even before the match started. Sami Zayn, who they're trying to continue his build. Ivar, who's been kind of jobber to the stars. He'll get a win here and there, but he's not going to be used as anything special, which is sad because he has the ability to be something more than what he is right now. And then Bronson Reed after the fact.
Yeah. I don't think Michael Cole's going to be around much longer, but again, if you think Michael Cole's been on TV for too long, Mr. Clarke can tell you that JR has been on TV since, I think, the 80s. He started in WCW, then at WrestleMania 9 when he joined WWE, and then on and off WWE, and now being over in AEW. So when you find somebody like a Michael Cole, a JR, a Tony Schiavone, a Mike Tenay, some of these big names that have existed in the name that can do this, they're going to be there a long time. And so, I mean, Michael Cole's the guy. But yes, I think Michael Cole has been working. They've been trying to find that replacement for Michael Cole. That's why he switched back and forth a lot more recently than ever. But Michael Cole's time is coming to an end. So, hey, it's life. But, yeah, I think Michael Cole's about wrapping up, and I do believe he's come out and kind of wants to go more into the back scene area and get ready to step away. So I don't think we're too far off from finding the next voice, but I think we're still finding that. They don't have that person right now, but I mean, the commentaries, Michael Cole and Pat McAfee are the best listened to. Pat McAfee has been the best since probably Taz. to be working with Michael Cole, because Michael Cole has never been better than working with Pat McAfee. Because Michael Cole gets excited. Pat McAfee is a positive mark. He marks out, has fun, and does his job. There's negative marks in this business that don't do what's best for business. But Pat McAfee brings that excitement, and what Pat McAfee gets Michael Cole excited, and we get a better Michael Cole than we have in a long time. Michael Cole did get stagnant for a long time, where he was just kind of feel like he was going through the motions. When you put him with Pat McAfee, we get some of the best Michael Cole calls, and it's just really awesome. And on SmackDown right now, I think we have a good panel. I'm very shocked with Corey Graves and Wade Barrett are doing really good over there. For both of them being former wrestlers, which is not really the normal thing in commentators.
Mm-hmm. But I also think what helped Michael Cole was not having a certain someone in his ear anymore.
Yes, no, that's true too. Very true. But he does get hype because Pat McAfee gets some hype. Because Pat McAfee jumps up on the table and does dumb stuff. Like tonight, when Gunther comes out, he's up there and I'm like, oh, God. And you just see that Michael Cole.
Here's also the simplest example of Michael Cole. Go back to when the Cruiserweight Classic was happening. The way he called matches then compared to what he was doing on a Raw or SmackDown at that same time period, you could hear the difference because he didn't have that certain person in his earphone.
No, that's a big factor.
Also with Pat McAfee as well.
Yes, Pat McAfee really does. I mean, yes, Cole's gotten better without having somebody in his ear, but also since when McAfee's around Michael Cole, he's more alive. He's just more. Mm-hmm. They're buddies. I mean, you know they're friends just because the way they go about it. And Pat McAfee brings a different level into that commentating booth than we've ever had in wrestling. He brings a whole new flavor that I don't think we've ever seen, and that's a nice touch. And then when he marks out or gets stupid and he's standing up there right Gunther, or he's up there doing the yeet, you're just like, this fool. He's a positive mark. That's all I can say. He's a mark. Bring back Marlon Ronaldo. I wish they would, but I don't think they are. So if they were, he would probably already been in the talks for it, and I think we're pretty much set on where we are now. Cole and McAfee for the time being. I don't know what's going to happen next year. If McAfee's going to stay with WWE. Once football season comes up, I don't know where Pat McAfee goes. So we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah.
So now we got two great commentating teams. I can't take away anything from Corey Graves and Wade Barrett. They do a really good job on SmackDown for being both wrestlers, which I cannot go back in history in WWE, WCW, or any show that I know of, or a TNA where you had two former wrestlers at least of that, doing the commentating. So, anyway, from backstage, Kathy congratulates Gunther on his dominance, and who does he feel about next week? Okay. How does he feel about next week? He elevated the title to new heights, and it should be stacked. It should be stacked against him. He is flattered. Incept Chad Gable. He is here. He's so sick of the condescending smile. He can't get over his daughter crying over Gunther insulting him to anyone else. It's just a path to WrestleMania, but this is his path to redemption. He would take that title and put it on his waist. He would take that smile from him and put it on his daughter's face. To Chad Gable, this means more. Gunther walks off laughing at Chad Gable, and they gave us another big name and continuing finally, where we had Chad Gable and Gunther early in fall, having their storyline, and all of a sudden it seems like they pulled them apart, which is fine because now they're wrapping back to the story, which is perfectly fine because we didn't want Chad Gable and Gunther. They already had two matches. They needed that break or needed this break to really rebuild, and Chad Gable feels like a threat now. Which hour will the gauntlet match be for next week's show? I don't know. It probably should be the first hour. Of course, it could be the last hour. It could be the main event, actually. So we'll have to wait and see. We'll know later on when that will be on there. I mean, we may not know until Monday. But at least they're giving us plenty of contenders in this matchup. Again, Chad Gable, Sami Zayn, Bronson Reed, all focuses of tonight's show in this gauntlet. But you can't discount Ricochet. Shinsuke Nakamura a little more on the outside, and JD McDonough is just kind of your fallout guy. So
From a villainous perspective, though, I just love the fact that Gunther laughed at Gable's face.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
he can't take him seriously.
No, yeah.
It's like, that's the way a heel should be.
Yes.
And we don't see that as often as we should from people who should just really give you, like, you could actually believe that they are these kind of people.
Yes. Anyways, from there we have a backstage segment with Jey Uso, who's yupping around. I don't know. He has a promo for Drew for weeks. He's been hearing Drew cry and complain about an apology. He's sorry. He's sorry about what he's going to do about getting this work tonight. He'll find out tonight what that Jey don't play. Yeet. Mr. Clarke's favorite word. That's why I got a yeet. He's a yeeter. He's a yeet lover. See, he does this. Yeet, 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 yeet. I'll go Stone Cold Steve Austin on me. Anyways, backstage we have Xavier Woods are playing WWE 2K24, which if you ordered the WrestleMania edition or the deluxe edition, you can go ahead and start playing right now. It is live. For everybody else, it'll be out on March 8th. So get ready for that. WWE 2K24 getting stellar reviews, blowing it out of the water. Everybody who's pre-played this, who got to go to play this and check it out before it came out. Everybody who's had demo copies of it has just talked about how great this is. This is probably the best one in a long time. A fully complete game. R-Truth is here in the Miz. We get all the talks about that DIY are playing Shawn Michaels and Triple H. They like playing with themselves, as R-Truth puts out. At one point, Miz was talking about getting back at Judgment Day, and there was rumors about slime, gluten, and so, yeah. And then they all joined together as Regeneration X. So DIY, Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa, Miz, and R-Truth are now, I guess, Regeneration X. And Xavier Woods pulls a Paulus Clarke here. This would be something that Paulus Clarke would totally do. Say, I hate this, but loves it. I mean, in that moment, I saw you know, there's some things in life that I know you've done. I don't know if I like this, but you know what? I love it. So that was a great moment there with that. Yes, Eater of Worlds. That is Mr. Clarke's favorite. That's his motto. We had the Eater of Worlds. Paulus Clarke is the Eater of Worlds. Yeet, 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 yeet. Anyways, it's time for our main event. Jey Uso versus Drew McIntyre. This was a solid, good match between these two. I mean, damn good match. Up there with Gunther and Gunther and Dominic Mysterio earlier tonight. This was a great match. Jey Uso showing everything he had. Eventually, towards the end of this, Solo Sikoa appeared to distract Jey. And then Jey dives off, rolls through a future shock DDT to Jey. Cover a kick out. Here comes Cody. He attacks Solo, and we don't know what happened to Solo and Cody because they disappeared through the crowd and ran away. They are back in the ring. Drew sizes up for a Claymore, but gets super kicked not once, not twice, but 3 super kicks. The first one hits, he staggers backwards. The second one hits, he pulls off his own thing, PCO, kind of like no comeback moment. Then he drops to his knees. He gets the third spear. Jey looks to fly, but as he's stepping out of the ring, here is Jimmy. Jey sees him and stops what he's doing. They have a stare down. Instead of Jey going up, he turns and goes back in the ring, gets hit with another Claymore, and we get the 1, 2, 3. Drew McIntyre gets another big win here. Jimmy grabs a chair. He enters the ring, but here's Seth Rollins, the human highlighter for the night. He comes in and chases off Jimmy. He slides past Drew and sends Jimmy out of the ring. Seth turns and gets hit with the Claymore, and Drew warns him about being selfish. And this is what brings us to the end of our show. Are we getting Jimmy and Jey or Jey? No, we're going to get Jimmy and Jey at Mania if we're going to get anything. That is the story we're going to get there.
That's the long rumored match.
So we're just going to have to wait and see how that storylines are starting that storyline. That's how it's going to progress. Mr. Clarke, let me know what you thought of Jey Uso versus Drew McIntyre.
Good match. I understand why the finish happened the way it did. I just don't like the fact that Drew McIntyre is constantly getting kind of cheap wins, distraction wins. You know, it's like, I get it because they need to keep Jey Uso strong. But it's like,
But this is part of this new heel character with Drew McIntyre, where he's not doing it for the fans. He's going to take every win he can, regardless of how he gets it.
Right.
Oh,
I understand.
I think it works. You may not like it, but that's working into his heel character.
Oh, for sure.
So
I have no qualms. Again, I like both guys. So either way, it's kind of like the Don Callis family members facing each other. Who wins?
yes.
Similar mentality for me here.
No. This worked out great. You got to keep Drew McIntyre heavy and strong going into this match with Seth Rollins. They have really built him up to look like this might be the moment he does this. And I don't know if Seth's going to get screwed. Seth may get screwed by the bloodline in this instance going forward. I think Seth with the world title has been great, but I think it's time for a change. And I think Drew McIntyre would be the right heel for it right now. And then he could feud with Damian Priest, because I really believe Damian Priest is going to turn babyface here. I believe Judgment Day is about to fall apart, and we're going to start separating them. So I think we're on the right path. Seth Rollins because you can have Drew win. Drew can then focus on a Damian Priest, and Seth can continue his feud with the Bloodline in a different way.
Yeah.
So this has been your Monday Night Raw review show for March 4th, 2024. It was a damn good show. It was good. Hit some points, missed some points. It is what it is. I hope some of the things pick up as we push closer. We need a few more matches for these 2 nights that we're not getting. Right now we know there's a world title. We know that the Universal Championship match, Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes. We know Seth Rollins in the world title against Drew McIntyre. Io Sky versus Bayley for the women's title. And in the world women's title, Rhea Ripley versus Becky Lynch. Those matches have been solidified, but we don't have a lot of other matches that are actually factually designed to go. We know Jimmy and Jay are being talked about. We're seeing that being built. We know the women's tag titles probably be on the line. We have to see what Logan Paul is going to do with his storyline now. I hope that becomes the multi-person ladder match now. Then Logan Paul, Randy Orton, LA Knight, Kevin Owens. Maybe you could put Grayson Waller and Austin Theory all in there. It could be very, very interesting. What we're going to get out of that. DIY versus Judgment Day for the tag team titles. Plus so many other matches that could be involved in this. Can't wait to see how it comes together.
You mean you don't want the New Catch Republic to face?
I don't know. We may get a 4-way dance in that tag match. We may get the New Catch Republic, DIY, and the Awesome Truth versus Judgment Day. Don't know. Could do a lot of things there. It depends on if they want to stack the card. If they're going to try and get everybody on the card, it could be some heavy mixed matches here. So it's going to be interesting going in. We're getting close. We're within, let's see, it's the 4th, and that happens. So we're just a little over 30 days away at this point. Of course, now for all of us, it's the 5th. Last year in Hawaii. Yeah.
It also depends, though, whether they do it on SmackDown, whether they do it on a pre-show or the main card, if they do like the Andre the Giant, Battle Royal or not, and the female version of it.
Yes, we'll have to wait and see how that plays out. Other than that, I can't wait to see more of the Hall of Fame names. We got Paul Heyman. I'm assuming Bray Wyatt's at the top of that card, so I'm hoping we get that done. I think if you're going to do a woman this year, it just makes sense to do AJ Lee. Tag team. I can't think of a tag team, though. That's the only thing. I don't know who's a good tag team that's not already in there. Ken Shamrock might get his induction this year, too, because he just re-signed a deal with WWE. So we'll have to see if Ken Shamrock maybe gets his WWE Hall of Fame moment. So, can The Rock induct Ken Shamrock into the WWE Hall of Fame? Or would that feel like TNA? Anyway.
I would almost want someone like Dan Severn to induct Ken Shamrock.
I don't know what Dan Severn was there for a cup of coffee. So I don't know
their UFC/WWE title.
I know. Well, and now they're one big company. Maybe, I don't know. It depends on what all plays into that. Maybe Conor McGregor inducts Ken Shamrock and then starts a feud with somebody. Who knows? Could be interesting. We'll have to see who gets inducted. and how it goes. But I definitely think Bray Wyatt's going to be one of the big names on there. You could have Bo Dallas make his return and induct him, or Taylor Rotunda, whatever we're going to get. Kevin Von Erich in the WWE Hall of Fame. Yes, all the Von Erichs got inducted to the WWE Hall of Fame. I believe it's just the Von Erich family all got inducted. That's why. That's why which one? I think Kevin is Is it Keith or Kevin that's still living? Of the elder, not the young two.
Yeah, I know. I don't remember the names, to be honest.
Yeah. No, the Von Erichs within the last few years got inducted as a whole into the WWE Hall of Fame.
But wasn't that also neighboring, not at the same time, but neighboring when they
I believe it was when they were in Texas, in Dallas.
But when they did the DVD on the Von Erich family.
I believe so. I forget when that came out too. So, and then the Iron Claw movie's out, which I gotta get and watch at some point. Oh, there's that. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, this has been your post-show review for Monday Night Raw for March 4th, 2024. We thank you for being here. We thank you for joining us in the chat. We thank you for making the conversation interesting tonight. And of course, as always, this is the Value Wrestling. That is Mr. Paulus Clarke. I'm the Big Time. We appreciate you for being here. We hope to see you next time. Make sure you hit that thumbs up. Let's get this out in the algorithm. Hit all the thumbs up so we can get it out there. Make sure you hit that bell for notifications so whenever we create new content or going live, because we'll be back on Wednesday with a Dynamite review. We'll be back Friday with a SmackDown review, and there shouldn't be anything else until Sunday afternoon at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time when we do the Value Wrestling Weekly Roundup, where we round up everything that's going down in the world of professional wrestling. Of course, here in a couple hours, you'll see the Tuesday episode of New Japan Pro Wrestling Rebound, brought to you by Mr. Miguel Z. Every Tuesday, he brings you an update on what's going on in the world of professional wrestling when it comes to New Japan Pro Wrestling. So if you're a New Japan fan, go over there. If you're not, still go check it out. Learn about New Japan Pro Wrestling. There's some awesome stuff going on over there. Some great stuff going on there. There's some great talent. There's a Finley over there making some great stuff. And there's David Finley over there, and then there's Brogan Finley in NXT. And I wonder if there'll be a Finley Regal feud continuation as Charlie Dempsey is in NXT too.
In the house shows, for the NXT house shows, there already has been.
So
Charlie Dempsey and Brogan have already been facing each other.
There we go. So we could see some old school history repeated. So good show. I'll be here Tuesday. Well, your video will be here Tuesday. You won't be here Tuesday. Today is Tuesday officially, so you'll be your video, your show will be here later.
You will have representation.
Yes, you will be represented in the program. As far as that, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Join the Value Wrestling family. Help us grow. Help us become the fastest growing podcast in the IWC, because we are here to be contenders. We are not pretenders. You can believe that. Take it to the bank. Cash it, because we are going to take this by storm. We are marching to 1,000. And we want you to we need your help to get there. It costs you absolutely nothing. It's free 99 to hit that subscribe button and become part of the Value Wrestling family. Any final thoughts on tonight, Mr. Clarke, before we say goodnight?
Man, SmackDown better be good.
Well, you know it. Anyways, tell the fans good night.
Good night, fans.
It's your boy Miguel Z.